Hi, I'm Sue.
And I'm Mel, and this is Manifesting with Mel and Sue.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thanks.
So we are here today to start this channel on manifesting your reality. And our first topic today is going to be, what is manifesting?
Yes.
So there are a lot of, terms for it, right? So there's, my favorite is conscious creation, because I believe that everything that you're conscious of creates your reality. It also goes by law of attraction, law of assumption. There are some differences in how those two ideas are approached, and techniques and beliefs. But it's basically the same idea.
Yes.
That basically it's our thoughts that are creating our reality, or our imagination, or our beliefs. But everything around us is created by what's going on up here.
Exactly. And we want to teach you guys how to manifest your dream life using conscious creation, as we like to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot to manifesting, but I think the simplest way to explain it is everything that you believe is true. And this is the way that I like to explain it. I talk to a lot of people about it, and it's kind of obvious. Like, can you think of anything that you believe that isn't true?
No, everything that I believe is true.
Right. And so that goes for you too. So if you're doubting whether your beliefs are true, then just ask yourself, what is it that I believe that isn't true?
Exactly.
And the answer is nothing.
Exactly. And also the things that we assume to be true, like we create these assumptions, and we have these thoughts or beliefs that have been created from childhood even. And so sometimes we have these beliefs that we aren't even aware of.
Yeah. And so all of that, everything that's going up in here is what's creating your reality. So it's not necessarily that every single thought you have is going to automatically manifest in your life. But basically, as far as the law of assumption goes, or the law of belief, it's your beliefs. Mm-hmm. And if you really think about everything that's true in your reality, everything that you experience in the world around you, technically you created it because you believe it. And so it gets tricky when you think about like all the terrible things that are happening in the world that you believe that they're happening, but you're not like, oh, I didn't create that. That was always the case. But the way that it works is that you are living in a reality where that thing is true. And so with your belief that it is true currently, then it's going to continue to be the case. So what we're going to get into over the course of this discussion and subsequent videos is, how do you change those beliefs? How do you change your reality? Which, you have to change your beliefs to change your reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to help you guys to create your dream life doing that.
Definitely. So, oh wow, we were only at 4 minutes. So we didn't really plan this video out. We can cut all this. But let's talk about, why don't we talk about how we got started in manifesting?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So I'll go first. So I've probably been doing this since like 2006-ish. And that's when I discovered the law of attraction through watching the movie The Secret. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because watching The Secret, if you haven't seen the video, there's a point in the video where they tell you to close your eyes and imagine yourself driving a car. Feel the steering wheel in your hands, see the dashboard in front of you. And so I'm watching this video. I already had a car. I wasn't looking for a car, but I was watching this video and I'm following along with the exercise, and I'm imagining my hands around the steering wheel of my new car, and I'm seeing the dashboard in front of me. A week after watching that video, my car died. And then a week after that, I'm driving home my new car, and I'm looking at the dashboard, and I'm like, wait a minute.
That's
this
awesome.
looks familiar. So that was kind of like, and it was I understood the concepts behind the movie because it made sense to me at the time, but it wasn't until like I was sitting in my car driving it home that I was like, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you?
So I got started very similarly. I have found that most people that get into manifesting have started with The Secret because obviously it's very well known, very well established throughout the world. And I had heard about it probably in the early 2000s, probably right around the same time as you. And I wanted to see the video and I wanted to read the book. And I kept saying, there's got to be a way, there's got to be a way. And my brother had the DVDs from one of his coworkers had them and had lent them to him. And I was like, can I borrow them? And he's like, yeah. And I never saw them. And I was like, forget that. I'm going to get them somehow. And I didn't know how. I just knew I was going to be able to watch it. And I didn't think about it again. And fast forward maybe a year, I'm at my local library, and guess what I find? I find the book. So I check out the book and I read it, and then I find that the movie is on Netflix. So I was able to watch the movie, I was able to read the book, and I started following the principles and the exercises, and I managed to manifest. I actually did manifest my dream car as well.
Oh, nice.
And like I should not have been able to get that car. But I did, and I've manifested so many different things since then.
Yeah. So for me, it was like, I don't know why, but for like maybe like a few years after that, I was just like, well, this is how I get cars now. So it was like that was my main use for the law of attraction because I knew how to manifest a car. I just imagined driving it.
Yes.
So anytime I needed a car, that's what I did.
That's awesome.
So that is my experience, how I got started. But then I learned I want to say it was like 2018, 2019 when I was working at the Portsmouth Indoor Pool. That was when I learned about the law of assumption. And the difference, I guess, between the law of attraction and the law of assumption is the law of attraction says that you attract what you're manifesting by your vibration, your energy. Yes. Whereas the law of assumption, which is what I believe, is that it's your beliefs and your assumptions that change your reality and create your reality. And so they do work similarly. And I think because I believe in the law of assumption or a law of belief, I think it doesn't matter which method you use as long as you believe it. Because it's the law of assumption, a law of belief. Exactly. So, and I think that's why when you look at people who have manifested miracles by prayer throughout history, it's the same thing. It's just if you believe, if you have faith in this higher power is going to answer your prayers, then it will, because it's not your belief in the power that manifests. It's your belief that it will happen.
Well, look at the Wiccan or witchcraft beliefs, and they will focus all their thoughts on repeating an affirmation. They just do it looking at a candle burning, and they do, create a spell.
Yeah.
But essentially, they're focusing all of their energy, and so it's the same thing. They're just doing it kind of with a lot more glam and glitz.
Sure. I don't have much experience in witchcraft, aside from a short period when the movie The Craft came out.
No, I had a friend who, she was Wiccan, and she would tell me about the things, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's very similar.
It is.
Sure.
So.
I mean, that's what magic is, spell casting. I don't really like the idea of like magic and witchcraft because I feel like the association with the occult is...
it really has a negative...
It does.
Connotation to it.
It does, for sure. And so I think one of the things that is appealing to me about the law of assumption, which was originally taught by Neville Goddard, he considers himself a Christian. And his beliefs go back to the Bible. Yes. And how everything in the Bible says that basically the kingdom of heaven lies within you. Yes. And that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, then you can move mountains. And I love that. Actually, I have a quote from the Bible on my wall, and I'm not a very religious person, but it's about faith and how just having faith in something can create it.
Exactly, and that's true. I really do believe that, because you're having faith in the belief that you are going to have this or you're going to get this, and that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to have a lot of stories from our own personal experience to share with you in upcoming videos. But today we just wanted to cover, what manifesting is, conscious creation, law of assumption, law of belief, all of these different ideas that all mean the same thing, that you are in fact creating your reality through the power of your mind. And whether you're doing it intentionally or not, you're doing it every day.
Exactly.
So I think that's it for today. If you would be so kind as to like, share, subscribe, that would be fantastic.
And don't forget to comment.
Yes, especially if you have questions or thoughts. We would love to address those as well.
Now go out and manifest that dream life of yours.
Yes.